Guys, imagine that one kid is 18 years old and the other kid is 18 years old. One kid sacrifices this one thing and becomes wealthy. The other kid decides to not sacrifice this one thing and lives a life of poverty or poor. My question to you is, what do you think this one thing is? What is this one sacrifice that the 18-year-old kid who grew wealth decided to utilize and the kid that didn't grow wealth decided not to do? Let me know what you think that one thing is in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Guys, this is what they never tell you. You don't have to sacrifice everything to be wealthy, but you're gonna have to sacrifice this one thing if you want to build some wealth in your life. I'm going to share with you what the number one sacrifice is that we all have to make if we want to build some wealth. Now, if you get any value at all out of this video, do me a favor and smash the like button for me. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. Now, before I get into the number one sacrifice that we're all going to definitely have to make to build wealth, let me give you a few things that some of you may have to sacrifice along the way as well. Now, some of you may have to sacrifice some friendships you have with negative people who surround you and sort of bring you down, bring your mood down, always have something negative to say. Listen, people that aren't going anywhere in life, typically they want you to go with them. You have to say no to those people, and you have to develop some new friendships, some new connections, and gather some new information from those new connections. Now, another thing that some of you are gonna have to give up if you want to begin to build some wealth in your life is expensive self-care. Maybe it's the trips, maybe it's the vacations, maybe it's the shoes, maybe it's whatever it could be, guys. But maybe it's the shopping or the shoes or whatever it may be. Maybe it's the concerts or maybe it's the sporting events that you pay season tickets to, who knows? But you're going to have to give up some of that self-care that costs a lot of money, that's costing you several $1,000s a year, and you don't even think about it because it's so normal, so a part of what you always do. You're going to have to find ways to treat yourself without breaking the bank. Look, some of the best self-care in the world is free. Walks in the park, walks in nature, maybe some gardening, maybe some meditating, maybe some drawing, maybe some dancing, maybe some journaling and writing and unplugging from social media, right? Take more naps, take long baths, cook your favorite meals, spend quality time with quality people. A lot of those things don't cost a lot of money at all. So the key for some of you all is you're gonna have to learn to take care of yourself and give yourself some mental breaks and some self-care in an inexpensive way that just doesn't cost as much money. Now, some of you, in order to build wealth, you're gonna have to give up your fear of failure, your fear of trying, your fear of taking some risk, your fear of stepping out on the limb and doing something a little bit different with your money or with your time than what you're used to doing. Maybe you gotta spend more energy doing something different that pushes you to the limit a little bit, right? Pushes you on the edge and says, give it a try, give it a shot, right? You're gonna have to lose your fear and fear of failure in order to build some wealth. Now, those things are all fine and dandy, right? But there's still that number one thing that we all are gonna have to give up in order to build wealth. So the number one thing that we're all gonna have to give up if we wanna build wealth is time. It's probably the most important wealth building tool that we all have access to is time. Hey, everybody has the same 24 hours a day in every single day. What you choose to do with that 24 hours is what's going to separate you at some point. Whether you're 18 years old or you're 38 years old or you're 48 years old, what you decide to do with your time, your 24 hours every single day is what's going to make a huge difference on whether or not you're going to be able to build wealth or not. The person that becomes wealthy does things totally different than the person who never becomes wealthy. And I mean, not the people who are already wealthy, the people that are on their way to being wealthy. The way they spend their 24 hours is much different than the person who is on their way to poverty or the person who remains in poverty or remains poor, especially in a land where there's opportunities all around us, right? In a society or a culture where there's opportunities everywhere for each person to choose to go a certain direction or not go, or use their time doing this or use their time doing that. In that type of culture or society, how you decide to use your 24 hours every single day is what's going to separate the people who begin to build wealth and the people who never build wealth. And in that type of culture, guys, the beauty of time is that really it's your choice. You have a choice on how you decide to spend your time. And the more you understand the value of time, the more you'll understand the currency called money. Now, let me say that just in a different way, right? Your number one resource, the number one resource that we all have access to is time, right? That's the number one resource. What good is money if we don't have time? What good is land and resources if we don't have time? What good is a business and having employees if we don't have time and understand how to manage the time to utilize all the things and all the resources we have as sufficiently and efficiently as possible? None of it matters if you don't properly utilize the time that you're allotted every single day, right? So time is huge. Hey, the only reason that you're watching this video right now is because you've chosen to use this time to actually learn about some financial literacy, watch something dealing with money on the internet, on YouTube, right? You've chosen to use your time to do that. There's other people that have chosen this exact moment not to do what you're doing, but to do something less productive. The choices that you decide with your time is what matters. It's what separates people. You're gonna have to limit that free time that you have. And you're gonna have to be a better steward with your time, right? You cannot spend your time the way everybody else spends their time if you want to have something different than what everybody else has. You've got to say, I'm going to spend my time doing something a little bit different so I can build something different, so I can produce and create something different, so I can create a better or different outcome in my life and with my money. Now, if you want to be regular and be like regular people, then spend your time like regular people spend their time. If you want to be better than regular, right? Above average, you're going to have to spend your time different. If you want what other people don't have, you're going to have to do the things that other people won't do and spend your time differently than most people. You've got to use your time researching, reading, getting a trade, going to school and getting more education, becoming better at whatever you do, right? Practicing, whatever it may be. It could be developing yourself, changing, evolving. It could be studying, growing, building, creating something different, something new, innovating, right? Maybe it's nurturing a new group of people that are around you, new connections, right? Those are the things that the 18-year-old who grew their wealth, that's the things that they did differently than the 18-year-old that decided, made a choice not to do. And that's why one became wealthy, the other one remained poor or grew poor, right? They wanted to use their time the way they wanted to use their time. They didn't want any circumstance dictating what they did with their time. Whereas the other person, the 18-year-old that grew their wealth, they knew that how they used their time, developing themselves, getting an education, getting a trade, whatever it may have been, they knew those things, sacrificing that time would ultimately lead to more money, more wealth, better circumstances down the road. Now, I'm not telling you to not have fun with your time. I'm just telling you to be diligent, be intentional with your time. Sacrificing your time is part of the wealth building game that most people don't talk about. You never really hear anybody talking about what they had to do in terms of time specifically that they had to sacrifice to get where they are. People ask me, how did you do it? How did you get to where you are? Well, it's because I chose to sacrifice my time. I had to do things different when other people were doing different things than me. Now, it's not easy, all right? Anybody that tells you it's easy is being dishonest and disingenuous with you. It's not that easy, but you've got to make a decision and you've got to choose. You have to give up the free time that most people cling to. You know, the easy life, the chill life, the going to work, coming home and chilling and relaxing and watching Netflix or whatever you watch every single night. The ball game, the basketball, football, whatever it may be. You can't do that every single night if you plan to build some wealth. You just can't do what regular people do with their time, right? You need to be busy with ideas, busy with learning, busy with new stuff, new information, building new stuff, creating and producing something. And that causes you to have to sacrifice and use your time to do it. Now, have some balance, have some downtime, have some relaxed time, but just don't live in that relaxed time, right? Don't spend the majority of your life chilling. It's hard to chill when you build. You got to go to work hard at your job, your 9 to 5, whatever it may be. And then when you get done, you got to work on you. You got to develop yourself. If you ask anybody over 50 or over 60, What's the one thing they wish they could do a little different or have a little bit more of to change what they did and the decisions and choices they make? They're going to say they want more time. They wish that during that time when they weren't making those sacrifices, that they would have made those sacrifices. Most people will tell you that. So there you have it, guys. The number one sacrifice that we all have to make is our time and how we utilize that time. I hope you guys got something of value out of this video. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below, guys. Share this video. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. I really would appreciate it. Hey, the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Guys, take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.